You know that since 1980, SSS has hiked its pensions 22 times?
Yes.
And did you also know that since 1980, we've only increased contributions 3 times?
Yes.
Would you agree with me then when I say that there's a greater likelihood to increase pensions than there is to increase contributions?
No, Your Honor.
Yes
in
or
our
no?
Policy,
Yes
we
or
are
no,
proposing
Council?
No longer,
Yes or no, Council?
In our contribution,
Council,
we will not
if you look
increase
at the numbers, it is
we don't
clearly
increase the
unlikely that we'll be
contribution, we just
seeing any
increase
increase in
the
contribution
the
rates together
pension
with
that
the
are
pension
received
hike.
by the
Council, let's
pensioners.
move on to the next question.
Yeah, sure.
Would
Go
you
on.
agree with me when I say that the SSS has idle assets, which, if you lease it, will amount to a few millions
Yes,
in
that's
profits?
actually present in
Would you also
section-
agree with me when I say that SSS board members have bonuses also amounting to a few millions?
Yes.
Did you know that if you put these two amounts together, they only amount to 300 million pesos
Exactly
annually?
my point,
Council?
Madam.
Yes
She's
or no,
succeeding with my
Council?
policy that
Yes
we have
or no?
to correct the
Of the
system
60 to
enable
26
for us to be
billion
able to
deficit
cater
we
to
could
the needs of
suffer
the
if we
pensioners.
add
That's
this
actually
300 million,
contradictory
that's
to their
barely
side.
1% of
Okay,
the
you're
deficit
contradicting
that
yourself,
we're
Madam.
needing.
Go on.
Thus, it is unlikely that we will be able to supplement the deficit caused by the pension
Which is
hike.
unproven,
You are
right?
aware, Council,
Unproven,
that
right?
SSS caters to
Unproven.
other
Okay,
kinds of
continue to be
beneficiaries
unproven.
as well?
Sorry, Madam?
You are aware that SSS caters to other kinds of beneficiaries
Of course, I
as
know
well.
that.
You are aware that their benefits have to be paid out from the same fund as well.
Yes, I know that.
Assuming SSS goes bankrupt, Council, would you agree with me that these other kinds of beneficiaries will also be affected?
No, they will not be affected.
So they will not be
Definitely, Your
affected if
Honors,
SSS goes bankrupt?
aside
That
from
does
her
not make sense,
very,
Council. So
silly
shouldn't their
presumption.
welfare be of equal consideration as well,
Sorry,
Council?
Madam? What?
Shouldn't the consideration of these other beneficiaries, aside from the pensioners, be of equal consideration as well when we talk about SSS viability?
Yes, but
Emiko, you have 4 minutes to rebut Kim and advance your argument and tell us the non-practicability of the proposition.
Good evening, Your Honors. Before I discuss my 2 points on practicability, allow me to clear up some things that transpired in this debate. There seems to be a burden confusion on the part of affirmative in this case, because negative never told you that we don't like pension hikes across the board. What we disagreed with was the specificity of 5842 in providing for a 2,000 peso bill across the hike, because this hike, Your Honors, is exactly what kills the viability of SSS, and we'd like to be clear about that. But secondly, we think that the problem with affirmative side is that it's pure lip service what they're trying to tell you. They're trying to tell you that they can have pension hikes and the viability of SSS at the same time, but never have you heard any clear proposition from them as to how they're going to improve or increase the viability of SSS. So we question, what really are they trying to put forth on the table? But thirdly, they say, isn't it that the government guarantees SSS as an institution? And we concede, Your Honors, that government does guarantee the SSS as an institution. But we only have to look at Greece to know how far that guarantee goes, Your Honors. Because when Greece guaranteed its social security system, it ended up borrowing funds from international monetary organizations. And look what happened to Greece, Your Honors. It came to a point where daily pensioners could only receive $2 a day because their government could no longer provide exactly what their pension system promised to provide them earlier on. Which is why I'm going to talk about 2 things in my speech. Firstly, we believe that passing the SSS pension hike bill is impracticable because it imposes an undue burden on its paying members. Since the year 2000, the SSS has been suffering an average deficit of 7.5 billion pesos, meaning that its total expenses and its payouts actually exceed the contributions that it receives, Your Honors. Why does this happen? This is because of the 33 million members of the SSS, only 12 million are actively paying members. More importantly, of these 12 million paying members, most of them pay only on the basis of minimum income, which is 100 pesos. Thus, if you look at the mathematics of this, the problem with the system is that firstly, the number of beneficiaries far outweigh the number of actively paying members. But secondly, the beneficiaries, the amounts that they receive are actually greatly disproportional compared to the contributions that are being brought into the system. So what does this tell you, Your Honors? That structurally, yes, SSS is prone to losses. If you pass 5842, this aggravates the situation. How? Because even assuming that you pass House Bill 6112 by mandating increases in the contributions, the problem is that it's improbable to happen. Why? people are naturally averse to increasing their contributions, and for good reason. A father, for example, who wishes to buy rice for his family will then have to make the choice. Should I pay my 500 increase in SSS or should I buy rice for my family? Isn't his concern equally legitimate with that of a pensioner, Your Honors? However, yes, Your Honor.
Madam Witness, are you saying that the rate of increase in the pension hike in the SSS should also equal or be lesser than the rate of increase in the contribution of members over time, historically speaking?
Yes, Your Honor, that is the point that we're trying to establish in order to ensure the viability of SSS, Your Honors. Going back to that example, the question that we have then to answer is, why should you impose the burden on these paying members if the government can provide other services to meet the needs of these pensioners? This is something that affirmative side has never responded to. Simply put, Your Honors.
Kim, we now have 2 minutes to cross-examine Emiko.
Good evening, madam. Good
Good evening.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you've researched about this, right?
Yes.
And you're only allowed to answer yes or no based on the rules of this
Yeah.
debate, right? So it's your position in your speech. You mentioned about Greece as an example. And you mentioned that Greece might be the product of the Philippines in the future.
Yeah.
And you're also aware that they're structurally different in terms of political economic system, right?
Yeah.
So why do you think will Philippines become the next Greece? Thank
You really want me to
So
explain?
on the next side, are you aware of Section 2 of the law?
Yeah.
You read it, right?
Yeah.
That it shall be the policy of the government to develop a sound and viable social security system for
We
the...
already conceded to that.
Is the SSS sound right now?
Yes.
Yes, you agree that SSS is sound right now, meaning it's financially capable to cater to additional
Yeah, but
benefits, right?
after 5842, it won't be
Okay,
sound.
thank you for agreeing with our side. So let's move on to another section. Will you agree with me that most Southeast Asian countries have identical economic framework?
Yeah?
Yes, very good. Are you aware that the pension systems of other Southeast Asian countries?
Yeah.
So you are aware that Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Korea have an ongoing evolution of pension system,
Yeah.
which is not reflected in the Philippines. Thank you. So on the next cross, are you aware of Section 4?
Yeah.
So it means under the law that the government is required to take increases
Yeah,
to
we already
benefits.
conceded that.
Let me finish, madam.
Yeah.
Taking into account inflation and financial stability of the SSS.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and to provide for feasible increases
Yeah,
in
exactly.
benefits for every 4 years.
I take note, feasible increases.
Okay,
Yeah.
move on. Are you aware that the rate of pension benefit has been insignificant and stagnant since 1997?
No.
Okay, it means that you're really not aware of what you're fighting for, and thank you for conceding to our policy. So let me now move on. Are you aware of the needs of a pensioner?
Yes.
You're aware that weekly they have to put up with 3,500 to 4,000 just for medicine.
No. That's
Sorry.
why we have
I'm
cheaper
sorry that you don't
medicines,
have
right?
a grandmother or grandfather to see that. Do you need a...
And with that, we end the debate proper. We now invite both sides to cross the House as our judges tally the scores. We'll bring you the results next. Please stay tuned. Square Off Season 12, the Firm Debates. We'll be right back.